Okay, so I'm thinking it's going to be easier to just walk through what I'm doing rather than writing it out and explaining it. So here's basically what I'm doing. So this is the Meeting Pulse backend dashboard for all of the meetings that we did. I'm on the legislative priorities results for the polls and surveys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this out as a CSV. And it's going to take a few seconds and it's going to export out the file that I sent y'all originally. So we're going to let this download and then I will show you what everything is in there. All right, we're going to save that and we're going to reopen this. Okay. So as you can see, the sheet that Meeting Pulse gives me is identical to the original one that I had sent you, with the exception of changing each of these priority questions. Now, so I upload this. Notice there's a secret, or the access code for each user is right here. So what I then do is I load it into SQL. We don't use Microsoft Excel. We use a SQL database, a relational database called Postgres. And so what I ended up doing is going down here and let's see here, under RPT. As you can see, this is the spreadsheet that we had. This is the priorities results identical. It was imported into SQL. You're going to notice a lot of these had no data or they were null, right? So we'll go in here and we have this. Now the question is, how do we get counties and counties and Senate districts from the original registration file? So up here, you'll notice credentials 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Sunday has everybody's name, all their information, their original meeting room, their congressional district, their Senate district, and their county. So I need to bring this information together with the results of the legislative priorities. So how do we do that? Well, we go in here and I create basically what is called a SQL statement. And I say I want the Senate district in the county of every participant on the credentials page. And then I want all the results of the legislative priorities. And I want you to join the access code that is on the results from the legislative priorities table with the same code on the credentials page, because that's how we authenticate them. So it brings it together. And then what we do is we just go ahead and tell it to run the result, and it brings together the page that we had initially. I exported that out and sent to you guys last night, Sunday night. Now, to the other issue was how do we get the results of the legislative priorities in the correct order? Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up recently, and I have all of the original data that I provided, or all the original queries that I created. So this is the original case statement that I had produced for y'all. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy this in and throw this in there. Run. As you can see, it does a count statement for each county and Senate district based on the joins of each of the legislative priorities codes. So basically, it's joining everybody based on their access code, and it says match it where their Senate district on the RPT convention weight page and the credentials page are the same. Match where the county and the Senate district, or the counties are the same on the convention weight page and on the credentials page. Now, in order to pull that in, I went ahead and did the RPT convention weight page, and I literally imported in like how Brandon sent it over to me. So I have all of the tables that were sent to me, and I'm bringing them all to go to work into one final result, which is this table that I sent you on the weight counts. Now, the other thing was, well, we don't rank the issues. So basically, the question I had originally had was, do we load, do we total all the priorities up, get the totals for each priority level, and then we just rank them based on the total number of votes over time? The answer I received was no. So each priority number is based off the top tier. So in that original Excel spreadsheet that I had sent y'all, let's go back down here and find it. Which one did I send y'all? I believe this is the one. Is this it? Yes. Okay. So what I essentially did is took the took the original hard coded table that I built y'all with the names and the access codes, and I went ahead and just did a simple count if query. So if count if E2 to E5267 equals this, and then it gave me the results for each column. Now, after that, I had to go out and subtract to the tier of which results took the priority based on the total number. So obviously, the abolition of abortion was first, and then it was abolish the anti-life 10-day rule was second. And as we get down to like 5 or 6, these counts start to get different, because as the priority, for example, this one is, on row L is, abolition of abortion, but that's already the top priority. So we have to go back down. We have to go down a next step. Well, the next one was abolish, the gender modification, which was the priority right before it. So we have to start deducing those and say, okay, well, after these priorities, each priority level is different if it already wasn't a previous priority tier. So we'll just need to establish what the clarification is of how that works. Is, do we just sum everything all up for the actual issue row, or do we count it by the priority level that each delegate put in place in the questionnaire? So I've done it both ways, and there you go. Let me know what other questions you might have, but I thought it would be easier to walk it through. We don't do any of this in Excel. It's just a pain to do it that way. It's much easier to do it in like a SQL relationship database, so that way it can all be matched off of the voting code or the access code for each user, and then thread all of the 3 tables and the weighting together into one structure of query coding. And as you can see, it's about 250 lines of code to get it to work correctly. But the benefit of doing it this way is the raw data is never manipulated. So the sheet that I put in from Meeting Pulse isn't being manipulated. I'm building queries to manipulate it on top of it, but the raw data is never altered. And when it comes to like voting integrity situations like this, that was something that the previous chairman was adamant about making sure we don't do. And so we put it in a SQL style relationship database, so we don't ever have to manipulate the raw file. We can always augment it over top, but leave the original records the same. Hope this provides some clarification. If it does not, please let me know.